Hello everyone, welcome back to another mid-war battle report. Today's game is Jimmy versus Sherry, and it is going to be Jimmy is attacking and the mission is outflanked, and he will be attacking using the Germans. So his first formation of two, he has a Panzer III formation. The HQ is two 7.5cm Panzer IIIs. He then has a platoon of three 7.5cm Panzer IIIs, and then at the back he has four long 5cm Panzer IIIs. So yeah, that's that one formation. Second formation is a Fallschrmjager Company, again tried and tested by Jimmy. We have a HQ of two SMG teams and then two small platoons of Fallschirmjägers, so that is just 7 teams. In support we have 4 10.5cm howitzers, an OP and 2 heavy scouts. For command cards, Jimmy's taken diversionary tactics to help with any ranged in markers, and captured tank, so he wants to try and see if this does anything for him. So that is his entire force. So let's have a look at the defending British in command of Sherry. This is the defending British. We have a Grant Armoured Squadron consisting of a HQ of 2 Grants, and then there's 2 troops of 3 Grants and a troop of 3 Honeys. In support of these with another formation is a Rifle Company, and we have a HQ team of 2 SMLE teams, and then we have 2 full platoons of infantry, so that is 7 rifle Bren gun teams, a boys anti-tank rifle and a 2-inch mortar. In this formation as well are 4 6-pounders, and then there's 2 units of 2 heavy machine guns, so those are Vickers HMGs. In support we have 4 25-pounders, and the only command card in use today for the British is sticky bombs, so that's quite useful for when the tanks start getting in close. So that is the entire British force. So likely for reserves, all the Grants are going to be stuck in reserve. So let's have a look at the board. So here's the table setup. I used a different method for setting up the board today. Battlefront shared a Axis of Attack campaign PDF. So looking at that, it has like all the theatres, and what you do is you split up your table into 2 feet by 2 feet squares. So obviously this one will have 6, and then you pick a square, you roll a die, and you consult the result, and then you get to put what that terrain is. So in this corner we have wrecks from an old battle, and this will provide concealment, so short terrain. This section is just a well, so I just thought I'd add a little building next to it. Desert scrub, and then we have some rocky ground, so this is concealment and bulletproof cover, but only for stationary infantry. This section was nothing, as with the North African desert there are some areas of nothingness, and did say that you could actually use this as road dash rather than cross country because it's so compacted, but that's up to Sherry and Jimmy. And over here we have some loose sand, so again it's just a terrain dash if you go through it, but you can't dig foxholes in it. It didn't say anything about cross tests. I suppose the tanks will just be going slow and it should be fine, but interesting for no foxholes. The other interesting thing is when you roll a 6 when you're picking your terrain, which I rolled a few, you have the chance of a cam scene coming in on a turn. And basically, if I have said it right, it's like a desert wind, a sandstorm basically, and that will come in and night effect will be operated for the turns it's in. So again, you'd have to roll to see how far you can see, and then you have the muzzle flashes, which will be interesting. So that will come in, so at the start of everyone's turn, they roll a die, and on a 1 it comes in, and then basically after that it's a 5+, and then it just goes away. So this will add an interesting element to the games, and they do have these terrain setups for all the theatres: Mediterranean, Russian, Winter, Western Europe. So looks interesting. So Sherry hasn't picked what table edge she's going for yet. A bit of a mix, and it's also up to the players whether they agree whether they want a cam scene to come in or not. But I think they both will, because it will hinder both of them, I think. But so let's see how deployment looks. We have finished deploying. This is the British deployment. Basically, both infantry platoons have kind of integrated into one massive group. So, first platoon is on the left, second platoon is on the right, HQ is right behind, and then we have the HMGs on the right flank and the left flank. You can see the Honeys are smack bang in the middle as well, and the 25-pounders are back in this rocky outcrop. So in reserve we have all the Grants, and the 6-pounders are waiting in ambush. To counter this, Jimmy's spearhead has pushed down this flank, and the entire Panzer III company is deployed here, as well as 1st Platoon and the HQ of the Fallschrmjager. In the corner of Jimmy's deployment are the 10.5cm howitzers. Get a good view of the battlefield from here. To give him a bit of a better view, the OP is here, and the remnants of the Fallschrmjager Company is on the right hand side. So Jimmy has first turn. So Jimmy, if you can hear me, roll a dice. If you get a 1, a sandstorm has erupted. Okay, we got a 5, so Jimmy is good to move, and we'll get back to you after movement. And this is the end of German movement. Everything is pushed up. The Fallschirmjäger have done a follow me, so they got to keep up with the tanks a little bit more. So these Honeys sweating a bit. There's a lot of guns looking at them at the moment. And then on Jimmy's right hand flank, the Fallschirmjäger with another successful follow me have cross country dashed down here. So we're going into German shooting on their first turn. In the shooting, James started with his artillery with a mixture of very good rolling to hit. He did range in first time, which was good as well. He hit a lot, and then Sherry failed a lot of saves, and then James passed, I think, pretty much most of his firepowers. So the heavy machine guns that were here are dead. The second in command is dead, and another team of infantry were killed. All the Honeys are gone, as you can see. And over here, this unit got pinned by MG fire and lost another team. So that's where we're looking, going into the British first turn. So starting off, Sherry, you have to roll a dice, and on a 1, the sandstorm comes in. Nope. Okay, so first of all, we've got a lot of pinned down units. So start off with the HQ that is rallying in on a 4. But you get a reroll.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, and then second platoon gets the rally test on a 4+. What do you get, Sherry?
4.
Okay, and then you got first platoon to go as well.
3.
Okay, so, and I think they are out of command. They are, so they remain pinned. And then, Sherry, you've got 1 dice for reserves. No.
3.
Okay, so we're going into British turn 1. In the movement, we've got a startup step about the ambush. They have popped up behind here, because they do get concealment from the dead tanks. They were able to get that little bit closer. So there they are. And for the rest of the movement, Sherry decided not to do anything. So we're going into the shooting, and hopefully the British can repay what the Germans just inflicted on them. British shooting wasn't great. the 6-pounders put 8 shots into this platoon of Panzer IIIs right in front of them. Only 1 hit, and then James equalled on the armour, but Sherry failed on the firepower, so nothing happened. On a more positive note though, the 25-pounders managed to range in on the Fallschrmjager and killed 1. They're pinned because of the artillery. So that is that. So going into turn 2, James has to roll a dice, and on a 1, the sandstorm has turned up. 6, so no sandstorm. The only motivation you've got to do, James, is for your pin down Fallschrmjager. 3, yes, they are unpinned. So we're going into German turn 2. Jimmy's pretty happy to keep this flank still at the moment, because the armour's providing a quite convenient shield for the infantry. Although, Jimmy, do you want to try and dig them in, the Fallschrmjager?
Yes, I completely forgot about doing that.
Okay, so you've got first platoon to dig in on a 3+. Yep, and then the HQ. Okay, not for him. Right, apart from that, second platoon has moved over, and again another follow me, so they're in some bulletproof cover for the outcrop, but 2 of them are not. But still not too bad by here. So we're going into German shooting again. So the luck has seemed to have swung back in Sherry's favour. James rearranged in to get all the 6-pounders under the template. He hit 3. But Sherry passed all her saves, and she passed all her saves for everything else under the template that got hit as well. The MGs didn't kill anything and didn't pin anything that wasn't already pinned by the artillery. So going into Sherry's startup step, Sherry has a dice to roll, and on a 1, the sandstorm is here. Nope. So next step, Sherry has a pin down 6-pounder. That she gets a 3, so they don't rally, but you... No, they do. They rally on a 3+, they're fearless, the 6-pounders. And then you also have a pin-down rifle platoon. That rally as well. And then you have 2 dice for reserves. So 1 comes in. So we'll sort out what Sherry wants to bring in as we go into British turn 2. So here come the Grants, coming in just by here, so looking right at the Fallschrmjager. Everything else has remained stationary, being happy where they are, caught in limbo between going to engage the Panzer IIIs and getting mowed down by MG fire, or staying in their foxholes and being mowed down by machine gun fire. But at least here they're in bulletproof cover. So we're going to British shooting. Sherry ranged in her artillery. By here, she killed a Fallschrmjager team, didn't hit the HQ, but first platoon is pinned. She did manage to bail a long 5cm Panzer III. The 6-pounders had a little team talk after last turn, and they managed to kill 2 Panzer IIIs and bail the 3rd. So looking a bit better over here. Second platoon of the Fallschirmjagers have been pinned down by shots from the Grants, and the heavy machine gun platoon by here, and they also have lost 1, so that is 2 teams of Fallschirmjäger down. So going into Jimmy's turn 3, Jimmy, you have a dice to roll, and on a 1, the sandstorm is brewing up. Uh-oh. Sandstorm's up. So basically, this is night attack rules now, so when you want to fire with a unit, you have to roll to see how far it can see, and nothing can move faster than terrain dash. So, starting off, James, you've got a bailed out tank, the 7.5cm, and he's getting back in on a 3+. Stays bailed out, but you get a reroll from your formation command. He's back in, and then you also have another bailed out long 5. 3. So that is protected ammo becoming in use. And also a pin down first platoon of the Fallschirmjäger. They're unpinned, and then second platoon. They're unpinned as well. Okay, so we're going into Jimmy's movement. So everything is going to be a lot harder to hit now. We did do the last stand for that remaining Panzer III. We just did it off camera because I did forget. Jimmy's going for it. They're all lined up ready. And so are these guys. They are rearing to go. The sandstorm is up, so everything is +1 harder to hit, so why not? So we're going into German shooting. The MG's fire, I think, only hit once, because the sandstorm is really affecting visibility. The 10.5cm howitzers, though, took out 3 of the 6-pounders, so this risk on this flank here is going to look quite good for the Germans, I think. Over here, though, did get 1 hit on the 25-pounders, but no kill, so these guys might get chopped up a little bit by the grants as they go in. So we're going to have a fair few assaults this turn. First up over here, the assault failed. The 25-pounders and the grants had enough hits to stop them, and then 2 were killed. Over here, the British lost a lot of casualties. Luckily, the 6-pounder managed to survive. Over here, but 1 Panzer III HQ got knocked out. Basically, all the British are being pushed back from the objective, although we'll have to measure to see if these can still cover. I think they just about can cover the objective. So Sherry, at the start of your turn, roll 1 dice, and a 5+, the sandstorm has gone away. Oh, it has. The sandstorm has gone. Alright, so you have about 4 pin down units. So first of all, your HQ is then pinning on A4. 2, but you get a reroll. Still pinned. Second platoon is pinned, but then you get a reroll again. Sherry got a 3. No, they're still pinned. Your 6-pounders rallying on a 3+. She gets a 2, but you get a reroll. A 1, still pinned. And then first platoon get to unpin as well on a 4+. Yeah, they do unpin though. And then Sherry, you've got 3 dice for reserves. So 4, 2 and a 1, so none. But because Sherry rolled 3 dice, 1 unit reserves will come in. So we'll find out what Sherry is bringing on. So here come the other grants right by here. Sherry has dug in 2nd platoon. The 6-pounders and the HQ were still in their foxholes anyway, so they were lucky enough to be there. Only movement has occurred over here. The grants are pushed up further into the Fallschrmjager. So we'll wait for James to get back as he's taking his dog out, and we'll get back into the shooting on British turn 3. This game is really swinging back and forth. Thanks to the 25-pounders, they managed to kill and bail a Panzer III. The 6-pounder, I can't remember if it did anything. I think it killed the remainder of the 7.5cm platoon, and then the grants killed the HQ, and he was unable to swap as well. So that formation will break next turn. The heavy machine guns hit long range 3 teams, and then James rolled 3 1s, so that platoon has been whittled down a bit as well. And over here only 1 has been killed, so we're looking for assaults again, and this is British turn 3. Right, in the assaults, Sherry didn't hit anything, but then James failed his counterattack, so he's pushed them back to here. So going into turn 4, there's no really point trying to remount that tank because it will... oh no, you might as well. Right, James, do you want to try and remount that Panzer III? No, it's stage bailed out. And then you have your pinned down 2nd platoon of the Fallschrmjager. They unpin. There's 2 teams left. Okay, so still with the startup step, because the formation is broke, this one will drive away, and this one, the crew basically blew up their tank so it can't fall into enemy hands, and then we're good for movement. James has pushed what remains of the Fallschrmjager Company over here onto the objective, along with the scout cars, and those two over here have thought might as well just go for the grants again. So going into shooting on German's fourth turn. The Germans have called in a smoke barrage, so it is cropped up right in front of the exposed Fallschirmjäger and the scout cars. So that ended the shooting for the Germans because they can't see anything, and these can't hurt the grants with the conventional weapons. So we are going into an assault again. So what happened with the assault is the Fallschirmjäger platoon got hit 4 times. They lost a platoon going in. They then failed to bang on the side of the Grant, but then the Grants got scared and broke off. And that ended that very interesting assault phase. Ooh, wait a second. They do manage, however, to kill a 25-pounder because of that, because he can't get outside of 8 inches. So you do get a 25-pounder as well, James. Right then, Sherry, you have, again, 3 pinned down units. So you have your formation commander, that's rallying on a 4. He is rallied, and then you have 2nd platoon, that's rallying on a 4. 4 again. And also your 6-pounder. 4, but then you also need to do a last stand with him as well. But you get a reroll. Yeah, he's okay, so he's still there. So that is it for the startup step, apart from you have 3 dice for reserves, so your HQ unit's coming in anyway, so we will go straight into British movement. In the movement step, this is where the HQ turned up, and the other grants are pushed here, and the 2nd platoon and the HQ are pushing to go into assault with the remaining Fallschirmjäger. Meanwhile, the grants are doing the same on this side, and 1st platoon has successfully dug in over here. So that's basically it. There will be minimal shooting because of the smoke, but some rifle fire will be able to go off. Okay, so now we're going into the shooting phase. Sherry did manage to get 2 hits on the, with the fire. She's going in for the assault here. Unfortunately, James passed both his saves because it's just basically full of concealment and bulletproof cover with all this wreckage. But this will affect the British as well as they go in. Over here, that guy's finally gone. Got hit 5 times, and James failed his saves. So we're going into assaults. So we had a failure of an assault. They got pushed back by defensive fire, unfortunately, so they had to go back where they started. They did lose a team from the fire. So going into James' startup step, you have no motivations to make. The smoke goes, so we're going straight into your movement. So both Fallschirmjäger teams have dug in, and at current, James just ranged in by here. It is okay for danger close, we did check, so he is just about to roll to see what he hits under this template. In the shooting, the ranged in marker managed to kill the 6-pounder and another infantry team. The Fallschirmjäger decided to go to ground, and the scout cars didn't manage to kill anything. So go into Sherry's startup step. You have a pinned down rifle platoon. She gets a 1, but again you get a reroll for the formation commander. A 2, so they remain pinned. Okay, so now we're going into movement. In the movement step, the pinned down infantry managed to dig in, but the formation commander failed to do so. The grants have pushed around to here. HQ is in the centre, and the other 3 are on this objective. So we're going into shooting. So far we're shooting, the British ranged in by here. They had to put it by here to keep away from their own troops. Did get a hit, but was all saved. The Grants, these ones over here, fired at the infantry using their MGs, didn't get any kills, and the other Grants managed to bail one of the scout cars. So Sherry's going to decide now whether she's going to move into an assault. So I just remembered James has captured tanks, so the remainder of this platoon is going in here, and now the Germans have a Grant tank. So we're going into their turn 6. And James has a last stand test to do on his first platoon, but he gets a reroll. A 3, so they're fine. And you also have a remount on the heavy scout cars. On a 4+. Yep, they're back in. Okay, so now we're going into movement. Okay, so in the movement step, James backed his new Grant backwards so he could repeat his bombardment. Unfortunately, he didn't hit anything, and he did get a few hits on the infantry, but didn't kill anything. So now we're going into Sherry's turn. So Sherry, you've got a pinned down infantry team. You need to rally. They rally. So we'll go into the movement, and basically Sherry needs to kill this Grant, and that's it. So in Sherry's movement step, she just moved as many Grants into range of this final Grant, because as soon as that dies, the formation is broken for the Fallschrmjager, and unfortunately captured tanks are hit really easily. So with these two, they managed to blow up their old comrade's tank, ending the game. Both of them enjoyed. It was a really good game. It was really James had a really good first 2 turns, had a blinder, and then all of a sudden dice started changing, started rolling a lot of 1s, which then stopped the momentum in the attack, but there was a lot to push away for the Germans, and again, consistently Sherry got her reserves in, so it just about managed to stem the tide, and those British 6-pounders did very well on their second turn of shooting, so unfortunately James was just a little bit late getting rid of them with his 10.5cm howitzers. So I hope you enjoyed. A little subscribe button should be popping up at any minute. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for any more, and there'll probably be a recommended video for you to click on if you haven't already seen it. So ciao for now.